What's up, Empath Nation Shift Crew? Happy Monday. Wow. I need so much caffeine on these days. Mondays are hard. I don't know why they're so hard, but they just feel so hard for me. I don't know why. And there's a lot of energy that we have just experienced in this post full moon. So that's what we're going to dive into is the post full moon energies and what our new options are, as well as what new options mean to you. So I'm calling this the choice episode, meaning let's explore what we're choosing and why we're choosing it and how we can choose, even more that floats our boat and gets us into the zone of, there's a secret word, possibility. So, this is how we roll. Monday mornings are a little slow, but I'm here for you, and that's why we're hanging out. And I want to take your questions live. So again, welcome to the live or welcome to the replay. I'm so stoked that you're here to the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour, where we are going to connect with all things shift and new earth and your power as a creator. And I can tell, wow, it is slow right now on the energy. Instagram is like taking its time. It's still saying, we're telling your followers that you started a live video. Hang on. Even Instagram needs coffee right now. So I'm going to take a sip as we start to kind of warm up the episode. Oh, that's so much better. So post full moon vibes. The vibration of life. Hey, good morning, Jesse Carr 13. The vibration of life is always changing. And I think in this pose, and I don't need to think anymore. I see it clearly. I see and I feel really clearly that the effect of what we have just gone through and are now in via the post full moon eclipse is that there are new choices. There are new choices in our life. And, can you feel it? How do you feel it? Do you feel it viscerally, And when we're given new choices, there's nothing more confronting than actually being told that you can choose anything at all. It's actually a very confronting thing to be told that, oh, all the options are available for you now to do. And when you haven't really checked in with how you may be holding yourself back, choice is kind of like frustrating. Choice is kind of, confronting. When we look at what is possible in our lives and ask the question, well, what's possible for me? What's not possible for me? Why is it not possible? Why is it possible? We're confronted by what we believe. And that's the homework we have to do. What do you believe? What do you believe is possible? And really looking at, does that person, is that person inside of you who's examining their possibilities? Is that set of personalities that you hold together giving you permission to explore new ideas, new concepts, to take on new influences that would give you new inspirations? So we're going to dive into this. I have a particular writing that I did for the private Facebook group, the Shift Crew HQ. And I'm going to go into it. But first off, I just want to say, hey, welcome to the live. Welcome to the replay. Oh, coffee, Monday. I need it. I've got it. Let's do this. Well, if you're new to this channel, here's what we do. As empaths, healers, creators, blossoming into our full abilities, we navigate the exit of the crumbling matrix system, aka blossoming into our full abilities. As we navigate the exit of the slave system, aka the land of the dead, through the exploration of possibilities and the cleansing of our shadow side so that you have all your options on the table again, all your energy available to you, and that you come back to life and become the shift that you seek to live in your full power on New Earth in the light of the sixth sun star system. Good morning. I've got a couple of maps, a couple of insights, and a lot of love for you. And I'm grateful that you're here. And let's hang out and let's dive into some possibilities as we tackle what I call the choice episode. So here we go. And I wrote this in the private Facebook group, which, by the way, Instagram, the link is in the bio. YouTube, the link will be under this video. The private Facebook group is the place where I will be diving in deeper one-on-one with people, giving some free trainings as well as we kind of anchor a lot of things. Because, if any of this stuff that I'm talking about is going to be usable, we have to set up kind of a practice. And then having the discipline to have that practice bring about positive effects and transformative effects in your life. And so I want to encourage people, please click the link in the bio and sign up. It's free. It's a Facebook private group. Just click the link. I can get you accepted in there. I know the guy who's running it. Wait, it's me. And we can really dive deeper on core concepts that are going to give you tools and techniques to, again, on the theme of this episode, give you more choice. So what I wrote there this weekend is this, after I take more coffee, because it's a Monday. Progress, transformation, and relief is what you're seeking when you become frustrated with something in your life. Either a situation outside of you or a mental emotional combo inside of you. So what we're seeking these days is always progress, transformation, and relief. And the work we do here together is to, in sobriety, see the connection between the two, the inside and the outside, the vibration state of your inside and the vibration state of your outside. Because that's where our empowerment, growth, and expansion are waiting for us to arrive at. So here's some basics that I want to explore in this post full moon eclipse stage of possibilities and choice. If you want to choose something new, then you're going to have to stop choosing what you've been currently choosing. It's that simple, right? But maybe not, because you have to be able to see in the dark of your own committed subconscious as to what you are currently engaged with. So choice is a lot harder, or new possibilities are a lot harder to entertain when you're subconsciously committed to keeping the world the way you think it is. There's that key word, you think it is, rather than the experience of what it is. And that little sentence right there is a big insight into, if we're living in a world of what we think it is rather than what it is, then we are each holding ourselves in a sort of private jail cell of our own making. We're holding ourselves back from a direct experience with the earth and consciousness and more choice due to a set of agreements that we have said are concrete, when all choice is not concrete. It's totally fluid. And that's where the empowerment stage that we're getting into is coming back online. Choice, choice, choice. But how comfortable are you with choice, right? I said at the beginning, there's nothing more confrontational inside of us when we start setting goals and then we run into that brick wall of, well, I don't feel like I'm worthy of that goal, or that goal or that possibility seems out of reach. Well, why? Why? And when we dive in and we ask why, turns out it's about belief, right? It's about what we consider to be concrete and unnegotiable in us. Like, it's a rule as solid as gravity. But when we look at thoughts, thoughts are not like gravity. Thoughts are all negotiable. Thoughts are all up for grabs. Thoughts are all up for renegotiation. So, we examine our choices, and we have to be able to, as that phrase I keep saying, see in the dark of your own committed subconscious as to what you're currently deeply engaged with. The thing that you primarily thought that was non-negotiable. So your choices in life are not good or bad. They're just choices within the infinite sea of existence in which you are rooted. And to add a little bit more of a meta perspective to this, you are not the experience you are living, but rather the container of the experience. If you change the frequency of the container, it then changes the frequency of the contents that are attracted into that container. Just want to say, hey, glad you're all here. Welcome. Monday on the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour Live, fueled by coffee. So you are not the experience you are living, but rather the container of the experience. Change the frequency of the container, and it changes the frequency of the contents that are attracted into that container, i.e. possibility. So, and a part of this, here's how we're all a mirror of the current state of humanity. All individual suffering, confusion, and pain is indicative to a symptomatic misalignment of the master container that holds all of humanity right now. So I really want to plug into that. A lot of times we can feel isolated in our trip, in our suffering, or in our transformation, but realize that the struggles that you face are not just your own. They're indicative of the master container, or the frequency of the master container of all humanity right now. You are, as I would like to say, not special in your suffering. And that's good because, one, you're not isolated. You're not separate from the suffering of all people right now. And that through your suffering, you actually create transformation. And that individual transformation that you make by entertaining new possibilities and then living them, adds to the total transformation of all of humanity, because of something called the collective subconscious, or the collective consciousness of Gaia. And, God, sorry, I'm getting interrupted by a phone call, and that is just like, Monday. So, do you notice? Never mind. Anyway, so here we are. I'm getting to that frequency of the container. You are not the experience you are living, but rather the container of the experience. Change the frequency of the container, and it changes the frequency of the contents that are attracted into that container. And again, you are modeling all of humanity in your individual evolution. So all individual suffering, confusion, and pain is indicative to a symptomatic misalignment of the master container that holds all of humanity right now. Right? We're all bumping into the same walls, and we're saying, you know what? I don't like this container. I want more choice. And that's why this is the choice episode. We're going to get into examining how we can choose more and how to choose more. So don't overindulge in the specialness of your sickness, in quotes, because it is a shared discomfort with a common root cause. And that root cause is what we can focus upon through what we discuss and heal here. The root cause of agreed participation is what we must all address. Right? We're coming up to that point of choice of like, I don't like the general vibe of what humanity is. I don't like the what seems to be the handful of options that have been handed to me as far as who I can be and what I can do, right? And so it's my responsibility and your responsibility to not only remember that you have choice, but to cleanse all the places that you believe you don't have choice, and then to take action in the wild direction of your truth. You know? So we're looking at this root cause, the root cause that, why is humanity all agreeing upon the same thing? What is this kind of like thing that we're corralled into the same boat when we can be in our own container? So I just want to remind you, you have a job, and your job is your healing, because your individual liberation is a key to a master lock of everyone's suffering. So end your isolation and separateness and heal the vibration of the master container of humanity right now through your individual situations, to then enact a single strike of effectiveness that unravels all suffering everywhere. This is to say, don't stop feeling what you feel. Go deeper. Feel what you are feeling right now. Don't deny anything that's going on inside of you, because we need more sensitivity to what you're feeling and what you're agreeing to. The space of your container, the vibration of your container that's then entertaining the possibilities that happen within that container. And then say, you have more choice. You have more choice waiting for you right now. You really do have more choice waiting for you right now. And as you create that new choice, you create new possibilities for all beings everywhere. So, we have to examine those 4 quadrants of health, wealth, love, and happiness, and say, where are you giving yourself possibilities, and where are you not giving yourself possibilities? Like I said at the beginning, there's nothing more confronting when you begin to set a new goal for yourself. So that's what you're going to do today, right? You're going to sit down, it's Monday, and we say, hey, I'm going to create a new goal. Okay, I want to have this experience in my life. I want to do this new thing. And then you check in with yourself and you say, well, how does that feel? And is there any part of you that's in resistance to that new possibility? And is there any part of you that is saying, oh, I want that, but it has to be done this certain way? Or I want that, but I want $1 million, but really I can only accept $10,000, right? Those sort of like pre-existing ceilings of what is possible. And I really want you to set new goals, because that's how you're going to be excited about life. If you're not excited about life, it's probably because you haven't set a new goal in a while to expand what you're capable of and what is possible. And we'll get into the technique of how that is done in a moment. But if you're not doing that, or if you've got these subconscious agreements that say, okay, I want this thing, but it's going to take 10 years and I can only have maybe 4% of the 100% picture that I have in my mind. Those sort of pre-existing agreements is what I call where we do the work, where we see in the dark and we discover, well, who's saying that I can only have 4% of 100% of what I want? Who's the person that's saying it has to come at a certain time or a certain way? And to really not just let go of those things, but to really like take that key of awareness and be like, I'm not just letting go of that like limitation, I'm like liquidating it. I'm like setting it free so it actually is not even in the programming anymore. So I want to, ask you, like, have you been trying to set new goals, and have you been coming into resistance? And are you aware? Are you aware of any subconscious beliefs that are holding you back to, like I said, experiencing an extremely limited, almost like poverty level version of the possibilities that excite you most? So, it's interesting if we look at kind of the mainstream dialogue. You could think you would think, if you were definitely like a being from another dimension looking at us, we look like a nation of people who have been trained to not get what they want. And if you look at a lot of commercials out there and trainings out there, you'd think, no one's been getting what they want. And, sometimes what we want is actually just to be heard and to be understood and to be loved and to be held. And, for some of us, we were trained that those things are not available easily. Like there's a constriction around those basic human needs. And that is part of the deep, deep healing that's going on right now, is to heal those parental and family and societal wounds that say that you have to be perfect in order to be loved, or you have to be exceptional in order to be held. And, or you were, trained that love or attention comes at a price. And that, you notice that in our own actions, where we, ended up adopting a behavior where we thought we had to yell or disrupt or confront in order to get what we wanted, when getting what we want and what we need could be much more easier if we just fell into a state of agreement and possibility and ease within ourselves first, like a state of just relaxing. Like, I don't got to control anybody on the outside of me. I don't have to manipulate anybody on the outside of me. And more importantly, I don't have to convince anybody on the outside of me to be in alignment with myself, and to feel myself and to love myself and to entertain possibility of the wildest, most exciting proportions. And so, I'm encouraging everybody to return to that state of ease and grace in your inner space. And when we do that work of finding that I agree and you agree, I agree to being in a state of ease and grace within my own body, within my own, what I was saying earlier, that setting up the vibrational container to be set at that frequency, then can I be excited and attentive to the flow that's going to happen on the outside of me, and to be playful with reality as I accept it's going to match what I decree and declare first within inside of me, and to become responsible for our deepest core vibration within us when we do that level of setting the frequency in us to feeling great and feeling abundant, because we gave ourselves permission to set awesome goals that are calling us forward to expand and experience things that light us up. And again, if you set a goal that lights you up, but then you start to think about a lot of compromise, I'm here to remind you that compromise is totally bullshit, and that you've got to deconstruct the part of you that's pre-agreeing to limitation and compromise when you start setting wild goals that light you up. That's it right there. There's your homework. you know? Uh, Boom. How nice are you communicating to yourself about your own possibilities, you know? So I need more coffee. So I got a question this week from somebody that I was helping out. And so, when we're looking at doing that work, we're talking about inner programming, right? And she asked this question, okay, because she wasn't giving herself possibility. She was hitting these brick walls. She was consigning herself to a certain life experience, and that life experience was on repeat. And she was kind of going nuts of like, I don't know how to get out of this repeat experience that I'm having. She asked the question, how do I begin to unfreeze years of programming and trauma? How am I going to, because programming and trauma keeps us in a loop. Programming and trauma keeps us in a description of the world that we are really tired of and we need some liberation from. So how do you do that? How do you unfreeze years of programming and trauma? And the answer I gave her is one word. And it's a very confrontational word. This one word will tell you a lot about where you are when you're wanting to unfreeze years of programming or years of trauma. The one word that we're seeking is playfulness. If you want new direction in your life and you want to entertain possibilities, this really is, my core belief is that the end game here is returning to a state of play. When we heal, or as we heal, we gain more power and more focus in the art of playfulness. Now, the word playfulness sound like, like I said, there's a lot that might come up when you're like playfulness, but that's just for kids. But where we're wanting to go as a species is to where we were before we were pre-programmed. To say life is so-and-so and such, and therefore I am this, ... In an infinite universe, to consign yourself to one version of possibility and deny the infinite fortune of choice that's available to you now, that's pretty telling. And that's what we need to look at. So playfulness, what does playfulness do? When we return to a state of playfulness, a state of play, playfulness leads to possibility, right? It leads to entertaining new feelings and vibrations, new pictures in our mind, new possibilities. And those feelings and vibrations become your new standard of what you're going to participate in. So playfulness is like getting into your own mind and dreaming a new dream. And then saying, yes, I am worthy. I would like to experience this new dream. And doing the cleansing work to remove all inner agreements that say, no, I can't have that dream. Or it has, like I said earlier, it has to come. My new dream is 100%, but I only deserve 4% of my 100% of my new dream. And we look at these things and we're like, what the fuck? Where does any of this come from? Where does any of this inner agreement come from? Well, it comes from our subconscious training, both from society and the group mind and our parents, and we do that work to cleanse. So again, the key feeling, right, that you're giving yourself new choice, especially in this awesome post full moon experience and vibration, it's like the old world is gone. And the old world is gone more quickly the sooner you start giving yourself choice. The sooner you give yourself choice is the time you give yourself playfulness. Choice is playfulness. You want more choice? Be more playful. You want more playfulness? Give yourself more choices. And let go of the old choices. So I encourage you to enact heroic states of playfulness. Now, I know when that word comes up, it means, well, I don't mind, getting on the floor and playing with Legos because I'll do that. I'll get on the floor and play with Legos. It could look like that, but it's really an inner freedom, whatever that inner freedom looks like. Maybe it is putting on a costume that helps you think different. Maybe it is putting on some music and lighting up incenses or like different aromatherapies to get your space changed, right? Playfulness can come in an infinite variety of actions and moods and states of being, and that's what I want you to get into. And playfulness has a purpose when you connect playfulness to goals that are asking you to grow and expand and that excite you. So connect goals and playfulness together as the practice. And, I went on to ask this friend of mine this question. When we're examining goals and we're examining choice and we're examining playfulness, name one thing that you can't think about. It's kind of a trick question. Right now, name one thing that you can't think about. And I'm not talking about thoughts that you're avoiding, because when you avoid thinking a thought, you're still thinking the thought. The answer to the question, name one thing you can't think about, is this. The one thing you can't think about is the thought, idea, concept, and or possibility you are unwilling to entertain within a mind that has no limits. I know I talk real deep all the time, so let me say it like this. On a Monday morning that needs a lot of coffee, the one thing you can't think about is the thought you're unwilling to think. Meaning, you have a mind that has no limits. So if you're not thinking about a certain possibility, it's because you're unwilling to recognize the infinite mind that you have ownership of, that you exist within. There is literally no thought you can't think. Think about that. Feel that. There's no thought you can't think. So why aren't you thinking all of them, any of them, none of them, everything, nothing? There's literally no thought you can't think. So when you're entertaining possibility, when you're entertaining choice, when you don't think about new possibilities and when you don't think about new choices, it's only because you're not thinking about them. I'll say it again because it's so elusive and primary at the same time. When you're entertaining new choices and when you're entertaining new possibilities, the only choices and possibilities you don't think about are the ones you don't think about within a mind that can think about any choice, within a mind that can think about any possibility. So I would say that the practical solution, if you're not thinking about new choices because you're not thinking about new choices, then find ways to stimulate yourself in a new way, which typically is do something different. The answer to expanding yourself is to do something different. If you're not, that will do it. So if you've never been to an art museum, go to an art museum. And here's what I like doing too. Try something you hate. If you haven't gone to a Japanese restaurant and you have the preconceived idea that you hate Japanese food, go there and eat a lot of things that you hate. And that doesn't mean that you will then love the things that you hate, but you expanded yourself. So whatever method it is, if you have and like I said, you have a mind that can think any thought that exists in the universe, and you have a mind that can think any thought that probably doesn't even exist at all yet. But that's why you have a mind, because you are a creator. And so you've got to figure out ways and methods and techniques to entertain possibility, to entertain new choice, if you're not giving yourself that option. And why am I saying this now? Because we're in the age of choice. We have dropped the old world. If you're ready to, the old world is gone. If you want to make the shift to New Earth, the old world is gone. The sooner you decide to choose, is the sooner you will experience your new choices. Got it? It's one and the same. The sooner you're willing to accept that the old world is gone and that the new world is dependent upon your ability to choose different and choose new and choose possibility and get into that state of playfulness where you entertain the new, then that phrase, the world is your oyster, or the infinite sea of existence is your oyster right now. So again, the one thought that you can't think about is the one thought, idea, concept, possibility, and choice that you're not willing to think in a mind that can think anything. And you get what you get because of your addictions to playing small. And so choice and possibility are very confrontational because they bring up where you are playing small immediately. And don't get frustrated by that. Get excited about where you're playing small, because when you identify where you're playing small, then that's your wow, I found it. I found where I'm playing small. Now I can kick that shit out the door by deconstructing its agreements, by deconstructing why I believe that is true, and go, well, actually, whatever I believe is true can be seen at multiple angles and deconstructed and be seen as untrue and not an option. The only reason why something's an option is because we focus upon it and say, that's true. But anything that's true can be seen in a different light and made untrue. Because in the end, it's just choice. So we want new choices, and new choices are available to you now. The old world is gone. The sooner you start entertaining choice and possibility. Do you feel that? Do you feel it? Do you feel that distinction? You know, you literally could think about anything and conjure anything right now. But the only reason you don't is because you choose not to. You literally could think anything and conjure it and make it happen. But the reason that you might not be is because you're choosing not to. So I love this. I mean, it's just like you live within a mind, Little Hawk Midnight. You live within a mind and a heart that work in conjunction with each other. And if you're not giving yourself possibility and choice, you are not giving yourself possibility and choice. Why? Yeah, addiction to playing small. This resonates. And playfulness is not part of my daily life. Yeah. And to people who are just joining right now, I want to just loop back and say, you know, how do you get to new choices? How do you get to new possibilities? You return to a state of playfulness. You become the being who you are before all your conditioning. Because that being is the being that has access to all options as choice. Yeah, don't sit, play. And use whatever methods you need to get into a state of play. Put on a costume. You know, what I did for a number of years, I remember making this commitment actually when I was a kid. I was like, I don't know how old I was. I must have been around like, I think 9 or 10. And I remember making this commitment. I was like, you know what? I am never going to stop playing with toys. Like, toys are awesome. And I'm never going to stop playing with toys, ever. Because, you always bump into older kids and like, toys are dumb. Why do you play with toys? Like, I remember meeting those people. And I think even my parents, like, why do you have so many toys? I'm like, I'm never going to stop playing with toys. And to this day, I still go to the toy aisle. And I don't always buy toys in the toy aisle, but I'm like, I still go to the toy aisle. I'm like, hey, is there anything here that you want? Because I'm totally going to give it to you. I give myself permission to buy toys all the time. And I love staying in that state of play. And Legos are like one of my number one toys out there. That's like, those things completely blew my mind at like age 5. I'm like, my whole world just was like, oh my God, I can like make this in any sort of way. And that's what we are. We're all sitting, or each of us, we're all sitting on a pile of Legos called our life. And, we can choose, and we are the ones who choose how to assemble our thoughts. We are the ones who choose to assemble our thoughts in any sort of way we want to. And we have. Because your life right now is the proof of how you have assembled your thoughts up into this point. You know that? Your thoughts are the culmination. Your experience in right now in life is the culmination of how you have assembled your Legos in life. Venus Photos, you want to come on for a second? I'm going live with you. So yeah, again, being that one thing that the one thing you can't think about. Ooh, hey, Venus Photos, what's up? Do you want to have a question? I'm not seeing your face. Okay, I'm gonna hit can't. Ron, you're here, man. Give it up for Ron. I love Ron's Instagram, man. I want to say your last name right though, man. It's Kochevar, right? Kochevar, Ron Kochevar. That's how I'm going to say it. I hope I'm saying your last name right. I love your work, man. And I do want to do an interview with you someday, man, soon. Because I really value the sobriety of your work, man. So legit, so legit. And I just want to give, if anybody's not following Ron, please follow Ron. I am a big believer in the sobriety of our path. And again, we examine, let's do it. We have to examine our core states of beliefs around what's possible. And especially when it comes to magic and spirituality and transformation, there's a lot of pre-existing beliefs that come from the Piscean age or a highly religious thing that has made its way into shamanism and it has made its way into the New Age movement. A lot of things that are really, harsh and kind of like priestess like that are removing us from our state of play. And again, that core state, the core theme of this episode right now is the choice episode. And that if we want to entertain new choice, we've got to unfreeze those years of programming and trauma so that we can get into a state of play. And that playfulness, again, will lead to entertaining new thoughts, new feelings, new possibilities, and that you will feel the tone and the vibration of those things within your body. And then to make a new home for these possibilities within your body. So I think it's pretty interesting, this kind of parallel that we have in our life. That, we live in a world right now, actually, and it's pretty hilarious, that relies upon programming for its entire economy. So think about it. You use your cell phone, you use your computer all day, every day. You use a device that was programmed. And the analogy is freaking hilarious, right? So a program runs a certain sequences of, yes, no, and belief structures. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do this, right? If the user clicks here, then do this. If I swipe up, then this thing happens, right? That's the basics of programming, right? We're no different. The programmers programmed the programs. That's who we are. We are the programmers. And so it's kind of nice and kind of an illuminating moment that we live in a society and culture that understands that everything is programmed and that we are the ones who have done the programming. And so how does a programmer program a new program? By entertaining possibility. First, recognizing that you have choice to choose to program your life in any sort of way. Then we entertain possibility. And then to get into a high state of possibility, we enact playfulness. And to honor and recognize that you are the richest motherfucker that ever existed. And here's why. Doesn't rely upon money to be rich. You are the richest person on earth right now because you have a mind that can literally entertain any thought. And as I was just saying earlier, the only reason why you don't entertain possibility is because you haven't even tried. You haven't even tried. Now, that could be because of programming, a commitment to limitation of thought, but you have a mind that can have and entertain any idea, concept, or possibility. And so if you think small, you get small. If you think big, you get big. You literally can think about anything. And the only reason you haven't, because you set a ceiling in a mind that has no ceiling. There is no ceiling. There is no fucking ceiling to this thing. And you can literally beat Source to its own punchline because you're a creator and you can create any possibility. And that's what we do as extensions of Source. We, in this giant hall of mirrors, we are actually out there from Source to reflect back to Source new possibilities. So if I said you had a job as a creator, it's to entertain new possibilities in a state of playfulness, to expand. And it's just hilarious, like I was just saying, that we live in a world, a total global economy that requires an understanding of programming. The whole world is networked because of programming. And that we're on the precipice of global liberation due to recognizing that we are the programs who program the programs. So, may we all get our hands on the programming of the app known as existence or life, right? We've got to get our hands on the programming of life because that's the keys to our liberation. And the key to this, the key to being a programmer that's cool, Ron. I'll hit you up in the DMs, man. Great to have you on here, man. What an honor. The key to aligning our programming is to align our programming with life. Align our programming to life. And the master life that we live in alliance with is the Mother Earth. Okay? Because Mother Earth rules all. To live in the natural world is to live in magic. And living with the Mother Earth is the foundation of our magic. She is the source of it. I was spending a moment this weekend out in the hills here in Southern California. I live near San Diego. And I'm just looking at the highways that are on top of Mother Earth and all the weird ways we've currently assembled our villages known as towns and cities. And then there's her beneath it all. There's her and the ocean and the mountains and the air and the plant life and nature and the animals. And then there's our weird thing on top of it, ignoring it all, ignoring her and ignoring the context of her, which is space, that we're on Spaceship Gaia and then we're flying through the universe, right? The basis for our new programming, the basis for aligning ourselves with truth in a world that's been programmed by a lot of non-truths and a lot of limitation, a lot of doubt and fear and shadow, is to align with her. Because no empire has a leg or a land to exist upon unless it exists upon Earth. But New Earth is not about something being on her like a bad domination game, a bad masculine feminine imbalance, or a weird situation like that. We are needing to be not on the earth. We are needing to be this one little semantic switch. We're needing to be with the earth. We are with the earth. We're not on the earth. To believe that you are on the earth is to be a dominator. You're on something. You're on top of it. You're dominating. I'm on earth. Really? You're on earth? Have you checked out the size of earth? I don't think you're on much except your own deception. And so we're ending our deception and we say, I'm not on earth. I'm with earth. Because without her, I'm nothing. I'm with her. I'm with her. I'm with Mother Earth. That's the only true phrase. So, again, this is the choice episode. Our choices can and must be aligned with life. And to align with life is to align with her, the Mother Earth. Because all your choices going forward require her participation in order for them to exist. Your next choice in life has no existence without the Mother Earth. Is that obvious to you? I hope it's obvious. Like, that's the elusive obvious right in our face. Your next choice in your current choices in life and your next choice in life only exist because the Mother Earth exists. Because she's going to make the material for your next choice, be it like your clothing or your car or your house or that airplane that you're going to ride to your new vacation or whatever it is, whatever you're choosing next within your mindset, you're going to experience. And you're going to experience it through her and with her. So recognize the master. Recognize the master of all this, and that's the Mother Earth. And to begin your relationship with her, because anything you desire in life comes through her, period. Anything you desire comes through her. That is the truth that all indigenous wisdom has kept alive and lives with today. And that's the truth that we as Westerners need to heal and reclaim within us. We, the colonized, must reclaim our connection to the earth. So we don't live on earth, we live with earth. And anything you desire comes through from her. Including, name one thing. I dare you to name one thing and tell me, how is it not from her? Name one thing that you desire in your life and it doesn't come from her. Now, of course, if you want more peace, right, you create more peace. You want more love in your life, you create more love. And those are the things that you generate. But, even those things, like, don't have a home unless you have a home. You don't live in space. You live with her. You live with her. Hey, by the way, everyone, you live with your mother, by the way. Did you know that? I know you thought you left home, but everyone lives with their mom. Okay? And the mom being the Mother Earth. So, you didn't leave home. Everyone lives with their mom, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You don't have to leave home. You don't have to leave your mom. Everyone lives with their mom. You live on Earth. And you live with your mom, and that's good. So, I don't know. Of course I know, actually. That's why I'm on here doing this shit. And I'm so glad that everyone's here hanging out and we're doing this shit together. That process of discovery, awakening means choice. And this is the choice that we now have in the post full moon. We live in a world, like was saying earlier, we live in a world that relies upon programming for its entire connection to the globe and its entire economy. And so we are examining the programming of the programs who make the programs that we all interact with every day. And we realize that we are programs, and that through our unprogramming, we realize our choices that exist within having a mind that literally has zero limits. And so I encourage you to find out where you have stopped entertaining possibility, where you have stopped entertaining choice in a mind that can think any thought, including the thought that I can't think any more thoughts. Well, that's just the thought. You have everything you require because you are an extension of source, and as an extension of source, that means you are a creator, and the creators can create anything they wish when they examine the infinite possibility of choice and within them. And we get to that state, like I said, through this one key word. And the one key word is playfulness. Playfulness. Because playfulness leads to possibility. Possibility leads to entertaining feelings and vibrations. And then feelings and vibrations become your new standard of what is possible and what you're going to participate in and the gift you're going to give yourself. So again, I say, enact heroic states of playfulness. Light some incense, light some candles, open the doors, get in touch with nature, because nature is the basis for all your magic and your life that's going to occur. And so again, Mother Earth rules all. No empire can exist without her. Mother Earth rules all. So take your playfulness to her and live in the natural world that is magic. Magic and nature are one and the same. So live in nature, you live in magic. And to live in magic is to live in nature with her. So welcome home. You live with your mom, and I do too. And that's a good thing. Mama Gaia has got our backs. So I'm going to sign off. Instagram's about to end in 1 minute, and I just want to say thank you. Please start this, if you're catching on the replay, start from the beginning. I've covered a lot of things. I call this the choice episode, and I really want you to have access to choice in the post full moon vibration. I know this episode started off slow. Mondays require a lot of coffee for me, but we do get to the point where we are the ones who choose our realities, and we do so because we are the programs who program the programs, and now we can program any program we wish to program. So welcome, programmer. Infinity is the source in which you draw upon your new possibilities in a state of play with living with Mama Gaia. Love you so much. Mwah. Catch you Wednesday, 10 a.m. PST.